Hey guys, and welcome back. This is KK coming at you again with another Auto Chess Mobile match. And today I wanted to talk about the divinity synergy. I feel like I've had enough time with it to really know what's going on with it, and just to give you guys some tips and some pointers on how to play it, how to build it, the best builds in my opinion, and some counters to it. I know there's not a whole heck of a lot of counters right now, but it is possible, and I've done it a couple of times. So let's go ahead. We'll go ahead and jump into that right after I thank you guys so much for all the views. That's crazy. We're getting close to 200 on my channel trailer, and I think we've got over like 230 and quite a bit of watch time on the channel, which is huge because once I get 4,000 hours, we can start getting monetized and I can start doing this for a living, which is awesome. So thank you guys so very much for all the support and everything. You guys are awesome and I love you. So let's go ahead and jump into Divinity here and talk about Divinity for a while. And for those who don't know, let me take a second here because some people wanted to say hi to YouTube. That's awesome. Like, I end up playing with these guys all the time. They're really good. Definitely learn a lot from each other with builds and everything. And I also ended up playing against Mont and TT Tigers, or Tigers. I don't know how to pronounce his name, but they're the top two in the world right now, which is kind of cool. I actually ended up taking a build from Mont, and it's a feathered build, which is doing really well right now. If you guys didn't know, feathered is actually really good, and I wanted to talk about that. I think we're gonna go ahead and talk about that tomorrow. Anyways, I'm getting off topic. Let's go ahead and continue talking about Divinity. So Divinity, in my opinion, is probably the most broken class right now. the most broken synergy, in my opinion. They definitely need a couple of tweaks for it. I think that if they make God of War just a little less tanky, I think he'd be sitting in a good spot, nice and balanced. But with the tankiness of God of War and the mages just pumping out so much damage, there's not really much counterplay that can be done. The best counterplay, in my opinion, is just running a Storm Shaman in all of your builds. If you come across a Storm Shaman early and you see people are starting to run Divinity and mages, go ahead and throw him in just to be safe. And if you have some mana items, go ahead and throw them on Storm Shaman and just hope that you can silence them before they can really get any of their damage off. And I mean, that's kind of the deciding factor, especially in some of these the late game fights. Storm Shaman ends up being the deciding factor. So that's going to be the number one counter, in my opinion, to Divinity mages right now. I mean, it's unfortunate, but that's just the way that things are going right now until we get a nerf on them, or hopefully they get a little bit more balanced. I'm hoping next week they do something about it. Like I said, I just think that God of War just needs to be a little less tanky so that, I mean, at least the other person has a chance to get through him. But on from that, so Storm Shaman is going to be probably the best counter for Divinity. So if you see other people go in Divinity, go ahead and pick up a Storm Shaman, try and get him tier 2 and throw some mana items on him. Another one that I have been working on personally is the mages. Like 6 mages, because you get this, you end up getting the human silence, and if you can silence the God of War with the human silence, it's pretty big because he can't get out any of his damage, especially tier 3 God of War. I mean, it's just huge. And if he has a God of Thunder with him, he's attacking like every couple of seconds because his cooldown also gets the 75% reduction. So if you can get the human silence on him, it's pretty huge. That's really good with mages. So that's going to be another counter. It's going to be the Cave Clan mages, which I'm going to do a whole video on them tomorrow. I've been trying to get some really good gameplay with it, and I have. Unfortunately, I don't know what's going on with my screen recorder lately. I'm thinking about switching it up because I tried 2 now with the AZ recorder and the DU recorder, and they keep cutting out at the end, towards the end of the game, and it gets annoying. And sometimes it'll just like pause right in the middle of it and it won't show anything. Anyways, so the counters to the divinity mages are going to be 6 mages and Storm Shaman and Cave Clan. So with a Cave Clan, you need Storm Shaman anyways. So you go ahead and tier 2 him, 2-star him, throw some mana items on him, and you should be good to go. As far as that goes, I have actually shut down the entire Divinity Warlock just running 6 mages. I mean, it blows them up. Our Storm Shaman, if you position him correctly, so towards the front of your team, and you can get your silence off first, it's huge. I've already explained that. So those are going to be the 2 best counters to Divinity Mages, and they both include Storm Shaman. So Storm Shaman is a really, really, really good unit right now, just in my opinion, and a lot of other people's opinion. He can single-handedly shut down Divinity Mages, and it's crazy. It just gives you that time to be able to get your damage off before they can do anything, really. So it's huge. So let's go ahead and talk about the strengths of Divinity Mages for a little bit here. And that is, I mean, there's a lot. So they're not too good in the early game unless you can really build around them. So what I like to do is hopefully get my God of War 2-starred early and pick up some assassins. So the Lord of Sand is a good one, Venom, and the Water Spirit. If you do Phantom Dancer and you can get like a Doom Arbiter or a Heck Knight early, it's really good. They have really good ultimates that you could use, and it's pretty big for you. They just keep ulting and ulting and ulting, and they can shut down like entire early game teams, and it's awesome. And with the tankiness of the tier 2 God of War, it's pretty big. So that's how I like to run Divinity in the early game. If not, and sometimes even if I can't, I'll just have the God of War on the bench and just wait until I can 2-star him, and then go ahead and slowly start moving into Divinity Mages and do that. I don't know why. I just noticed that I completely passed up a source right here, which is unfortunate. Right now we're holding a couple of things on the bench, just getting ready to hopefully do well, I was thinking about doing Warlock Divinity Mages, which is awesome. They keep healing, and it's kind of really hard to shut them down. Anyways, so like I said, the Assassins early game with Divinity Mages are huge. They have big ults, like Lord of Sand. He has a 2-second stun with his ultimate, and it just completely shuts down teams. And that allows the God of War to be able to attack again, and he does a lot of damage to start, especially early game. If you can't do that, hold the God of War on the bench and use Goblin Mech. Goblin Mech is really good early game. It always has been, and I think it always will be. It's just a really good synergy early game. It's really hard to stop them early, but Divinity Mages, it's just an unstoppable late game, and if you can get all the pieces for it, if nobody's really running it and you have an opportunity, or you get the Thunder Spirit, the Source, and the Shining Dragon all in one go, like at the beginning of the game, you're golden. You should keep working towards it. It's a really, really, really good comp. It's just the only problem with it right now is the God of War is a bit too tanky, in my opinion, and it's highly, highly, highly contested. And I know I said that the Storm Shaman can single-handedly shut down the Divinity Mages, but the absolute best counter to Divinity Mages is shutting them down early. Like getting them out of the game early. If somebody's going hard Divinity Mages or Divinity in general, you want to try your best to have a really good team comp and just get them out of the game early, so that way they don't have a chance to get to their late game. I think that is the absolute #1 way to shut down Divinity Mages, just in my opinion. But I think that's all I got for y'all today. Thank you so much for all the support. Like I said, that's kind of crazy. We have almost 200 views on a video, and I just started this channel probably, what, about a week ago or so. That's really crazy. That's huge. I thank you guys so much. We're going to go ahead and cut to the end of the video, and I'll just let you guys see what happened. Like I was explaining, somebody else was running Divinity Mage Warlocks, which is slightly better than Divinity Mages, and it's a more refined list. I just unfortunately did not get all the pieces that I needed for it. Anyways, I'm rambling. Thank you guys again so much for watching. I'll see y'all tomorrow.